Welcome to part 51 of Let's Go See John. November the 22nd, 2024 by man's calendar. I was just thinking back to my childhood when I was little. I remember many times Mom and Daddy dragging us along as they went places. And us kids were taught to be quiet when the adults were talking. So I was quiet and I listened. And back then you could hear a lot of conversations. Men would meet even on the street corners or wherever. And it was nothing back then for people to meet on the street corners and have big old conversations. Glad to see each other even. Greeting one another. And they would discuss the Lord and the Word and things the preachers had said in church that they had heard, and they would get talking to one another about what the preachers had said over the weekend or during the revivals or what have you. They'd be discussing it. And it was amazing. It was really something how that these things used to happen and that people would do these things back in the day. And I'm not even that old. But the amount of things that change in 40 to 42 years is quite amazing what has taken place in the last 40 some years since my early childhood. And it's been quite something. Nowadays, when people meet in the marketplaces and on the street corners, if they do, there's not much love there. And they certainly are not discussing the Word of God, but rather talking about one another or putting somebody else down or talking about somebody else that's not even present or brawling or this, that, and the other. They don't come together in love and unity the way that they used to. Because the fear of God has gone from the world. The light is going out. And many of y'all don't even notice because you're so wrapped up in your own things that you don't see how dark the hour is and how dark the day. The day of the Lord is a day of darkness. And you don't even see that you're in it. the Lord has been pushed out of everything. And was told he was not welcome in the world that he created. The Son of Man has been rejected by this generation. Unlike any other generation before. Now may blaspheme and speak evil against him. Use his name as though it is a cuss word. And many of them have no clue who he is. Santa Claus, they know. Jesus, many of them have never heard of. But they can tell you who the Easter Bunny is. They can tell you who the Tooth Fairy is. They can tell you who Santa Claus is. But they can't tell you who God is. What have you done to this world? What have you done? Why did you not keep the word of God? You did run well. And who did hinder you that you should not obey the truth? How could you say you love him and keep not his sayings? How could you say you love him and do not his word? But I want to get back into this word. Because we are ever closing in. On the end of things. And the word needs to go out in its fullness and in its truth. So this is John chapter 11. Now a certain man was sick, named Lazarus, of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha. It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with ointment, which is perfume, all the frankincense and so forth, and wiped his feet with her hair. Whose brother Lazarus was sick. Therefore his sister sent to him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom you love is sick. When Jesus heard that, he said, "This sickness is not to death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby." The sickness was not to death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby. Now, Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. When he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was. Could you imagine you just heard that one of your beloved people are sick? You have the power to take that away. You have the power, even not even having to go, but to just speak the word from where you are and stop it. But yet Jesus did not do that. Could you imagine the restraint it had to take on his part to sit and do nothing, knowing that Mary and Martha was expecting Jesus to come? Because their brother was dying. Jesus didn't come when my brother and my husband was dying. He didn't come. But he knew that we believed in him. But he didn't come. It's because it was for his glory. The day will come when he will bring them with him that are his. He abode there for 2 more days, still in the same place where he was. Then after that, says he to his disciples, "Let us go to Judea again." His disciples say to him, "Master, the Jews of late sought to stone you, and you go there again?" And Jesus answered, "Are there not 12 hours in a day? If any man walk in the day, he stumble not, because he sees the light of the world. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbles, because there is no light in him." How we have stumbled because we have tried to walk in the night. I'll see you in the next part.